I can't believe I'm already saying this, but this is my last week of my Stanford travel nurse assignment. As you can see, I'm already packing up to leave because I'm leaving onto my next location tomorrow. So I wanted to take you through my last week here at Stanford. Travel nursing and marathon training, working 10-hour shifts, being an adult has been like these last few months. We'll talk a bit about the adventure that's yet to come. So come along, buddy, let's go. So this is my last track workout at Stanford as I wrap up my travel assignment here. It's a beautiful day. I just got my lab work done for my next travel assignment. For each travel assignment, you have to get like labs done basically to make sure you're not on meth. The one I was supposed to go to today, the freaking lab was broken in some shit. Someone blew up the bathroom, I heard. So I had to drive 40 minutes here, and now I have 40 minutes to drive to the track. And now I'm having a little pre-run breakfast. Don't sleep on applesauce. Great pre-run workout. What? Great pre-run nutrition. Today I have 800-meter repeats, which are awful, horrible. The speed actually isn't that fast today. I'm also wearing new Asics Nova Blast 5, which aren't a good higher pace shoe. They're more of like going to be my easy shoe from here. Throwing them on because they're new. I want to get them broken in, and they'll feel nice. And today's not a super fast workout. So yeah, it's a very bittersweet week for me. It's my last week here at Stanford. I did get offered an extension or employment, but I think with my goals and dreams and stuff, I just wanted to test out new things. So we have big things still coming. I'm excited to share what's next, but so that means this week is a lot with pre-employment stuff, education stuff. You know, I had to find new housing. I'm moving out of this place that I was staying at Stanford. It's hard to even summarize how much I've learned from this assignment, just about myself and my life, but just the world. I mean, leaving everything behind to travel nurse has been a great decision, but it hasn't been easy at all. There's been a lot of challenges, so I kind of want to talk about that too. Anyways, let's get this workout done first. One thing I'm really going to miss about being at Stanford is just this track. The Stanford area in general is just beautiful. So I'm really going to miss this track. Hopefully we can find a good one at the next spot. Also severely under-caffeinated, which is really unlike me, but I had to leave quickly to get to this lab appointment this morning, and I really want caffeine, so we'll see how this goes with low caffeine intake. Let's break this up into a couple parts. Let's first talk about marathon training. Running a marathon is 20% physical, 30% mental, and like 50% trying to convince myself this is somehow enjoyable. Maybe you're marathon training as well right now, and you know that running is such a roller coaster. Day to day and week to week, you can have ups and downs, and you can feel horrible, or you can have these runs that feel amazing. Pretty sure at this point, my Garmin thinks that I'm being chased the amount I'm just randomly running. I have really enjoyed getting back into running. I've made huge progress, but it's also hard not to look back and compare to my previous self when I was a great track athlete, running great times, and now I'm like, damn, I'm nowhere near where I used to be. Part of me isn't even struggling with comparing myself to others. It's been comparing myself to my previous self when I was in better shape. You know, on those fast days, it's great when your Garmin's telling you that you finished too quickly. Never thought that'd be a good thing. I'm bordering always trying to ramp up my mileage, but also, you know, battling little aches and not wanting to get injured. And that's a big part of running progression. You want to push yourself, but you also do not want to risk an injury. So one of the biggest issues is I'm not anywhere near the mileage that I want to be. I'm only at like 35 miles-ish a week, which isn't a lot. My farthest run so far has been 17 miles. And when you start getting these mileage way up, you start chafing everywhere, and you have to have these constant explanations at the grocery store of why you're buying so much Vaseline. If you zoom out and look overall, training has been great. I've made big strides, doing 17 miles or 15 miles at a faster pace. And on top of that, I moved to a whole new state, thousands of miles away from my friends, and I work 10-hour shifts. I stay super busy, but I've still been able to get most of my running in. That's a win. Okay? And originally I wanted to train for this marathon to go sub 3. And if I zoom out, look at where my mileage is at, look at where my fitness is at, all of that to say is the sub 3 goal is very unlikely, which is fine. I think what needs to happen is I just do this marathon. This one is just for completion, and we see where we're at. Then we can decide what marathon we build to next. and what things I need to get into place to make that sub 3, to get to where I need to be. Because I took so long off from running, I think I expected to just bounce back into it, but that's not how training works. That's not how running works specifically. You need to just ramp up volume over time, and you can't expedite that process. But the last thing I want to do is force an injury and derail all this progress. So we're being smart about it, and that's okay. So the big pivot for me is I'm still training hard. I'm still doing long runs. I'm still stacking these weeks against each other, but I'm shifting myself into enjoying this process more and stop worrying about the outcome. I'm just going to put in the work. Okay. I'm going to put in the work until the marathon. We'll see where we're at. It's a good grounds to see where I am, build my aerobic base, get a little stronger, and laying the foundation for the next chapter. Training and just building life skills in general is a lot like a bamboo tree. A bamboo tree, when you plant it, you have to water it for years. You take care of it for years, but nothing sprouts. You don't see anything. There's like no progress. You're like, something's wrong with this. And one day you wake up and boom.
Because you know in a moment, they could all...
The bamboo tree has grown a ton, and it just grows way up, grows super tall, just seemingly out of the blue. But what's happening is those years leading up to it, it's building this huge root foundation. It's growing underneath the soil so that it can boom after. There's like this dip that you have to get yourself through, and everything compounds. If you're at a point in your life where everything seems like is going nowhere, you're not getting the progress you want, you're not where you want to be, what's probably happening is you're building that foundation, you're growing your roots into the soil, and it'll pay off in the end. We just got to keep going. So that's how I feel about this chapter.
Do a wheelie! Do a wheelie!
So let's shift gears a little bit and talk about this travel nursing experience. I am really glad that I took the step to travel nurse and increase my income, acquire new skills, and live somewhere brand new. It hasn't come without its challenges though. It hasn't exactly been easy. It wasn't always fun. The hardest part, to put it simply, was loneliness.
So this job is pretty isolating because, as you can see, I just sit in this office.
Basically every day I only saw patients and saw the doctor that I worked with. When all of my best friends are back home in Minnesota, which is thousands of miles away, it does make that a little difficult. Now I kept myself so busy, didn't really realize it, but I always got to recognize that community and friendship is a huge, huge piece of having a balanced, good life. Thanks. And my next contract, we are gonna dive headfirst into community and figure that piece out. Can't live a holistic, fulfilled life if I'm not having that social connection. That's just not how humans work. So it's important to me and my future self, set myself up for success. All of my friends, everyone that I've known my whole life, are back in Minnesota, where the Minnesota Timberwolves are kicking ass. The Lakers in 5, more like Wolves in 5. The gym scene around here was tough. And part of this is on me. Like, I should have found a gym scene sooner, should have found pickleball courts, done things to grow a social tribe and a community, because that is so important to our health and our life. Essentially, I ended up treating this as just a grind session. It's one of the biggest things that I'm determined to change at my next assignment. At the same time, I experienced so much growth by travel nursing. It's made me realize that the world isn't so different no matter where you are. Before you know it, I'm already packing up and moving to the next location. And I'm really excited for the next spot. I'm gonna have a better spot to live. Like this place that I'm living here is pretty small and just wasn't the best. I slept horrible here. I don't know why. So hopefully the next place I'm sleeping a lot better. I've started to be more intentional about what I'm doing and why. Figuring out what matters to you and what you're willing to suffer for, that's part of the climb, that's part of the journey, and I think it'll pay off in dividends later in life. It's like the bamboo thing. You gotta water the roots, you gotta put in the work, and things happen. Yeah, Stanford was a big chapter for me. In the next video, I'm gonna show you where I'm headed next. So make sure you subscribe and keep pushing onward, my friends. See you.